Welcome back to episode 5 of the PondCast. Today we're going to be talking about our predictions for the third round, even though both games already happened. Only game one, but it'll give us a bit of an idea of who we think is going to win anyways. So we'll start with the Western Conference, Vegas and Dallas. Who's going to start us off?
Not
Go
me.
ahead. You have your pick.
All right, I'll start. So even though Dallas won game 1-0, which was an incredibly boring game in my opinion, it was a pretty evenly matched game from what I saw. Didn't watch the whole thing, only saw some of it. But I'm gonna go with Vegas just because I feel like they have the depth that will get them through this series, and 99% of this pick is just because I want them to win because I have them winning the cup in my bracket, and I want money. So. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Vegas on this one.
I'm not okay.
Yo, jump in, bro.
All right.
Who's that?
Okay. So for Vegas Dallas, I got Dallas. I mean, they're up 1-0 already, so it's kind of unfair. But I think they're hot right now, and Vegas is having trouble scoring, which is kind of strange. First they couldn't beat Demko, and now they can't beat the Kudobin. So I got Dallas in probably 6.
I feel like Kudobin's too streaky though. I feel like he could just have a game out of nowhere, right? 3 on 10 shots or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Heiskanen will carry them.
Yeah, I think the defense on Dallas is like much better than Vancouver too. So I think Dallas is gonna win too. I'll say like Dallas in 6.
Yeah, I agree. Vegas hasn't played like a real team yet. No offense to Vancouver.
Yeah, and
We,
then
we haven't
Chicago
talked
too.
about that Vancouver series.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the other ones.
Game 7 of
We might as well
about
talk
how
about
3 series came back from 3-1.
and they
And
all
they all
lost.
lost. Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Game 7 Colorado Dallas? That was an awesome game.
I
Yeah,
saw some.
great
Yeah, it
game.
was a good game.
Yeah, I was telling Aiden this about how I think like the NHL like royally messed up the scheduling. I really do think they should have played that one in prime time on Friday night and Vancouver Saturday night. Avoid the back to back, and like people could actually watch the game in Pacific time and not at like noon.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
inconvenient.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the back-to-back, like, not, it's just worse hockey. I feel like both sides, like,
Dude,
both,
you shouldn't be done game 7. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it
yeah,
should be like 3-4 or something, or 2-3.
like, everyone's just tired, and the whole thing of like, I'm sorry, but playing your backup goalie in playoff games is kind of ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
the whole, like, every team has to play their backup at some point is terrible.
Yeah, totally agree. So Hank, you gonna go on a mini rant about the Canucks game 7? You too, Ethan.
Dude, I actually was
Um,
like really mad, but then I realized like they got to the second round and then they got to game 7 against a favorite, so I was like, I'll just let it go. But like I do feel really bad for Demko, and I thought that their effort was pretty pathetic in that game. And like even Tyler
Yeah.
Mott, like I expected them to like rally behind Mott getting hurt and like Demko making all these saves, but they just didn't. And I was like pretty mad, but then after I was like, they still got really far, and it's like farther than anyone expected, so I'm not too mad about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, it's obviously a magical run, and I mean, they beat St. Louis, and that's great. And yeah, they pushed Game 7. I mean, barely. I mean, they barely escaped Game 5 and 6. Demko kind of came in clutch, but it is kind of disappointing to see them get just destroyed in Game 7. I mean, that was one of the worst. That was maybe the worst performance of any team in the playoffs in a single game, besides maybe Arizona. But it was just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of sad to see them go out like that. And I mean, there's a few suspect calls like both ways, but I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing. But I mean, I guess I'm still proud of them. I mean, it's a hell of a run.
Yeah,
But-
it was a great run.
It's good for Demko
But,
too, because like
Did you
Yeah,
guys watch
if
the
they lose
Flyers
Marchand.
Islanders?
Wait, but real quick about Demko though, do you think like So Markstrom's UFA this offseason, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think this gives connects management motivation to actually not re-sign Markstrom now that they've seen Demko play so well?
I think it does. I don't. Apparently, they're still trying to pursue him and have been for a while. But I'm all in on letting Markstrom go because I think
Yeah.
he deserves to be paid. He's played great the last 2 seasons, and I hope someone picks him up and gives him a starting job, and someone will. But
Avalanche
I
is
don't.
like a good spot for him.
Yeah, really.
They could really
But
use him.
I don't think you should pay goalies very much money, to be honest. And Demko is a cheap option, and even if he's not a legitimate starter next year, he proved that he's something at least.
Yeah. And with Petey and Hughes coming up, you kind of need the cap space. So
Yeah, you could
Probably
argue
not.
even that Tyler Myers stole Markstrom's money, $6 million right there. But
Louis.
Louis.
Also, if you sign Markstrom, you're probably gonna lose Demko to Seattle, and then you can't re-sign
Yep.
like Tanev or Toffoli this year. So, I think
Exactly.
letting him go lets you sign those guys too. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Now all the teams need to think about the expansion draft. I think the offseason is going to be hella busy.
for sure.
The
Yeah, I
Canucks
think
are
there's
the busiest.
I think there's going to be a lot of buyouts, but also just weird cap dumps, like people going for a lot less than they probably should, just to
Yeah.
teams that have the cap because of the flat cap and everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think Ottawa is gonna be able to steal a bunch of players. Same with some of these other teams with a lot of cap. I think New Jersey has a bunch.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if you're Ottawa, are you not gonna take a guy like Kyle Turris or someone back, like someone with big money that is being overpaid?
Yeah, but
Like-
you can probably get them for a third or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'd do. I don't know.
And the other game 7 was Philly and Islanders.
You
what was
guys
that
watch
game
that?
like 4-0? I didn't watch
Dude,
it.
that was another game like the Canucks one where it was just Philly played so bad.
Yeah,
Embarrassing.
So bad.
yeah,
Not-
pathetic.
Not much to be said other than terrible. Oscar Lindbaum coming back is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't expect that game to be so one-sided.
Oh yeah.
Philly just they have a team they have at least 3 or 4 major pieces that seem to constantly underperform throughout these playoffs.
Giroux?
On paper they should be so good. Even Giroux, I feel like he's playing well, but
But it didn't seem like he was capitalizing enough.
yeah. The other classic thing, I mean, Vino's done a great job, but it's just he's always done everywhere is he's very stubborn and doesn't change anything. And he
Mhm.
kind of just lets it ride. And I think, to be honest, I think he got out coached because he should beat the Islanders, just like
Yeah.
most teams.
On paper. Yeah, I totally agree.
I think Trotz
Yeah, I
is just
mean,
a great coach.
Yeah.
We could intertwine this into the third round predictions.
Mhm.
So we talked about the West. We might as well talk about Tampa Islanders.
I didn't
Ethan,
watch the game,
go
but
ahead.
I think just based off the score and what people are saying on Reddit, I think Tampa. I already had Tampa going to the finals anyway, and I think they're gonna win the cup. So honestly, I'm just gonna say Tampa in 4 because I don't like watching the
Wow.
Islanders anyway.
It's it's really hard to picture the Islanders winning this series now because after how many series where a team gets absolutely demolished in game 1 does that team end up winning? How often does that actually happen? I feel like it's just such a statement, especially to lose by 6 goals and have 8 scored against
Mm-hmm.
and it was both goalies who played so bad. Grice let in the first 3, then Varlamov let in 5. So I'm gonna say Tampa in 5 or 6. I think New York will obviously have a way better game too, because now they know what to expect. But I just still think Tampa's a better team.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa in 5. Dude, Tampa looks if Tampa does pull it off in 5 or 6, they'll only lose 2 or 3 games all playoffs, which is phenomenal.
And they get huge breaks too in between all these games, so
Yeah,
they're really
yeah.
well rested and stuff.
And maybe Stammer could come back. That's really too bad about him.
Yeah.
Not much else to be said. Tampa looks like they have their eye on the cup and they're probably gonna get it.
Yeah, I want to be able to say the Islanders could pull it off, but I don't think they will. And Tampa just seem like one of those teams that are just like destined to go through. They're playing so well, so I'd say Tampa probably in 6.
But, just as a side note, Braden Point has 23 points so far in the playoffs. Like that's incredible.
He's a legit number 1 center.
Like that's like phenomenal, and he didn't even have a good season.
Yeah, and he's getting paid nothing, tax free.
Business.
Yeah.
We might as well talk about the GM news of a non-playoff team that is Arizona. So, according to Chris Johnston, Pierre Maguire got interviewed twice for the Arizona job. Any thoughts? Ada, I'm gonna go to you.
So I like the Coyotes just because they're the like obviously spending time in Vancouver. I've been to Canucks games and I've been to Leafs games, but Arizona's like the other team that I've actually been to their arena, like because I went there once, and hockey is really cheap there, so I got to see like 2 different games. Like, so I actually do like Arizona a lot. And I like a lot of the players there. I like Phil Kessel. I like Taylor Hall if they keep him. I like Michael Grabner, but like, holy crap, this is a terrible idea. And I don't think anyone's doubting this. I feel like I haven't even checked Twitter or Reddit, but I'm pretty sure people are going off about it. Like, I don't think, like, I hope I'm not crazy here. Does anyone here think this is a good idea to hire Pierre Maguire as your GM?
Dude, he was the GM of Hartford, I think, and like I think everyone like hated that shit.
He's so out of touch with it. Also, I hate I hate him as a commentator because he just states the obvious. But
He's a weird guy.
He like really like do yourselves a favor and go watch the top 10 weird Pierre Maguire moments on YouTube. Fantastic compilation. But he's such a like he's gonna trade away every single guy that's like over 6 feet. Like he loves like speed, and he won't ever be successful. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, like this is already a team that's kind of in this shit.
Dude, only in the NHL would you ever see something like as whack as this.
Like actually, like an
Dude, can you imagine the NBA like hiring like Gus Johnson out of it? Like I don't know, man, it's whack.
You know, in Pierre's defense, I will say like he seems pretty in touch with at least prospects. Like he spends a lot of his time like scouting, so he's knowledgeable. I have to give him that, but he just seems like he's not the brightest guy, and he's obviously a very weird dude. And it's just kind of it just seems like something you would only see in the NHL, and it just seems so unprofessional to hire a guy like this. And definitely, yeah, like it's not what you need for a team like Arizona, who is like needs major work done.
Dude,
yeah, like relocation threats are happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
real,
like Pierre just seems like the disaster of all disasters. And
Not to mention, you guys just said like Hartford Whalers. Where are they now? Exactly. Oh, it's the sign.
Yeah.
That's facts. Also, Pierre is like I can't imagine him hiring a coach and that coach respecting anything that he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I just have so much trouble believing it. In other somewhat GM news, we could talk about there's a couple of trades that happened. Let's start with the captain one. Go ahead, Aiden.
Yeah, so I think it was literally a 1-for-1. So Kasperi Kapanen, maybe there were some small players. Yeah. So essentially, Kasperi Kapanen was traded for a first-round pick, but there were some other players involved. I think it was Rodriguez came to the Leafs too, but he's RFA, so they've got to renegotiate like a contract with him. So,
do you want me to read the trade to you?
Yeah, that would actually help a lot. I'm looking for it right now.
Okay, so the Leafs sent Kapanen, defenseman Jesper Lindgren, and Pontus Aberg to Pittsburgh, and Toronto got Pittsburgh's 2020 first-round pick, Evan Rodriguez, and Philip Hollander, and David Warsofsky. So
I remember looking at a lot of these prospects, and they all kind of seem to be guys who are like middle of the road, like could turn into something, could not, could just end up being like a third liner and whatnot. So I didn't care too much about the prospects. Aberg is obviously an AHLer now. I think this is a great win for the Leafs. It doesn't by any means solve what's going on in Toronto, because like what I said, I think 2 episodes ago, still holds true that the issue has been for a long time with defense. So just trading away a winger is not gonna solve it. But it frees up cap space. We actually have a pick in the 2020 draft now, and I think it's 15th overall or 14th, which is really good because it's a really great draft. So it's a good at least it's some good news to come out of. Oh my gosh, Hank.
yo, we gotta
What?
talk about that mic, bro.
Your mic.
What?
It has like feedback. It's like if I say something, it will like bounce.
I don't know what's happening.
This is actually content. This is content.
You'll
So,
see
yeah.
when it gets posted.
all right, I'm excited.
Okay. Dude, we got a new viewer. That's hype. Yeah, I think it's a big win for the Leafs. I mean, I'm sure Kapanen will put up points in Pittsburgh, so I just feel bad for the fans because they keep trading away their first round picks. But I think he'll be fine. And I mean, $3 million for Kapanen isn't a bad contract at all, so it doesn't hurt Pittsburgh's cap too much. What do you guys think of it?
Also, the Philip
ahead.
Hollander kid is a second-round pick from 2 years ago. He's only 20, so that's not a bad.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like
It's
one of
not a
their
bad prospect.
he's like a top 5 prospect for Pittsburgh too. So
Yeah, it's
That's
really
not saying
like,
much.
yeah, it
It's
isn't
not
really
a
prospect.
isn't.
but yeah, that's a clear win for the Leafs. A deep draft, so I think they did well.
Jimmy really just out here like doing NHL GM trades.
Yeah.
It feels that kind of felt like a joke of a trade. I hate Kapanen. I think he's a terrible player. I think he's like the epitome of Toronto players, where they're fast and once in a while they'll score a goal, but like they literally disappear for 59 minutes of the game. I don't like him as a player. I also think he's not the best looking guy.
Yeah, he's pretty ugly.
But regardless of appearances, Leafs easy one.
Probably has a good personality.
So
Yeah,
we
go
move on
ahead.
to the Jake Allen trade. So Allen was traded from the St. Louis Blues after being, St. Louis losing in the playoffs to the Vancouver Canucks against all odds. So Jake Allen and a 7th, I believe, went to Montreal for a 3rd and a 7th. So I understand the 7ths are in like different years. So like obviously there's some semantics there, but I essentially think of it as Jake Allen for a 3rd. Like that's kind of what it was.
Well, what is the point of trading sevens? Like, not trying to be an asshole here, but
I don't really know. Because
Like-
how often does a 7th rounder turn into an NHL player?
like more importantly, like if you're just gonna swap picks, why don't you just keep them? Like Hank, you
Yeah.
kind of seem like you would know.
Dude, I could not tell you. I think maybe it's just something to add. Like
It's like those
maybe
NHL
it's
trades.
probably important to
Dude, it's
one.
just so they can.
It's like GM.
You gotta add that
Yeah,
extra value, just like a little bit
Like
of
you're
value.
gonna have
For
to
real.
sweeten the value a touch at a 7th. Because
Yeah.
Stupidest thing ever.
But I also would add that the 3rd round pick that the Canadiens sent was originally acquired from sending Kovalchuk to the Caps.
Nice.
They had just signed him, so they basically had it for free. They didn't really give up too much there as well.
yeah, I think it's good for Montreal. Like obviously, I think Jake Allen's on a pretty big salary for a backup goalie, and that now means that Montreal, between their 2 goalies, has like a shit ton of money trapped in like cap space, right? So it's like kind of bad from that perspective. But you can always trade him again if he starts playing better, and I think Jake Allen's more valuable than a 3rd. Like, and I don't think it's that big of a stretch to say that. I think he did play pretty well against Vancouver in those games that he played. And I don't know, like I feel like he could still be a starter on some teams. Like he's probably better as a backup, but he still could be one. Sort of like a guy who could be a starter for a third round pick. I think it's a pretty big win for Montreal. But it's good for St. Louis too.
Yeah, I was gonna add that that now they have 15 million trapped in goalies, and I'm pretty sure the reason of this like whole trade is to increase like the longevity of Carey Price, which is like totally makes sense. You have him for so long, star player, as well as I think the reason it was like a third, and I agree with you, Jake Allen's worth more than a third, is because of like this expansion draft and everything coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
makes more sense.
I think his
the other thing
contract's
too
only
is-
a year though.
yeah, it's only a year for 4 mil, and
Oh yeah,
the Canadians have like 14 million cap space, and they only really have to sign Domi. So they're gonna
If.
have cap. Yeah, if they sign him, which I don't know. But the other thing too is the last like 2 years, the Canadians really haven't had a good backup, and they've filled it with like 3 different guys.
Mhm.
And like I think this year more than any has proved that you kind of need a backup to rely on, and Price needs rest and all that. So Jake Allen's pretty damn good backup.
Yeah, his stats this year are actually really good. .927 in 24 games.
Damn, that is really good.
So it's like really good backup
Like top
stats.
of the league or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't realize Carey Price is signed till he's like 39.
Yep.
Wow, that's starting to look worse and worse every year.
It is the price of having to stay with that stupid Montreal media, as well as like staying there his whole life without probably ever winning a cup. I mean, they're not closer now than like they were 5 years ago,
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of
or
sad.
when he signed. They probably won't be either. Built like the Minnesota Wild, like can't understand whether they're good or not.
Oh, did you see? They're actually shopping Dumba apparently.
Oh
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I'd
Really?
definitely try getting Dumba. Dumba's like
That's
fantastic.
great, yeah.
Dude,
He's
he's
a
like
great
Shake
player.
Theodore.
Dude, it's racism. It's because he stood up about racism in the NHL. Get him out, like JT Brown all over again. Shoved out of the league. Really
Bro, wasn't he
skilled
like
guy.
sent down like the next game
Yo,
or something?
What?
I think
It would
JT's
be a
gonna
kind
sit-
of a bad look if they traded him right now.
Dude, I agree.
Especially he just won the King Clancy, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
The award, whatever it's called.
Yeah, no, you're right. Dude,
Yeah.
like Reeves getting suspended for one game, like, dude, bad luck, man. Just because he's black.
Literal racism in the NHL. Alive. So, there's one more thing we could talk about if you guys don't have anything else to say about Jake Allen. It's that, so last week, I believe the rumor was that Peter Laviolette was interviewed for the Capitals head coach job. And this week, Mike Babcock and Gerard Gallant were interviewed for the job. So, obviously, a lot of people in contention here for the Washington Capitals coaching job now that Reardon's fired. And obviously, I think it's a team that can still compete because you have like such talent like Ovechkin and Kuznetsov and Backstrom. So, like, out of those 3 names, who do you think would be the best fit? Who do you think is most likely to get it? Maybe do you think another coach should be getting it other than these 3 guys? Like, so what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Okay, I'll start. I think we talked last week about how there's like plenty of good coaches out there. So like Laviolette got interviewed. I really hope the Flames sign him, so I hope he doesn't get this job. But Gallant seems like the perfect fit for this, honestly, because Ovechkin needs a coach that not only like coaches for his like star potential, but also like keeps him disciplined. That was like Barry
Mhm.
Trotz. And I really don't think Babcock is like successful at that. I think when he got fired after Toronto, everybody came out and said like he's a terrible guy. And I think that's gonna happen if he goes to Capitals.
Yeah.
To the Caps.
Dude, I think he'd be
That's pretty
terrible. Like, I think him and Ovi would have such a shit relationship or something. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
like Babcock
They
would like rip
definitely
into him,
each
but like
other.
Ovi's like a vet and like a Hall of Famer, and like he wouldn't put up with that shit, you know.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
Gallant is a great fit too, because he
Yeah,
turned around
I think-
Vegas and like turned all those guys into offense first, kind of. So
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I think
And
Gallant
honestly-
would be really good. But
And-
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Vegas is like built exactly like the Caps. Like, they're really big and fast. Like, I think it would be a perfect fit.
Yeah, I think the other thing about Babcock though, I saw someone report that like he has a lot of connections, obviously around the league and everything, and that maybe him being interviewed was more of a PR move than anything. Like he wasn't really in contention,
Oh,
but it gets
yeah.
just because he kind of got beat up a little on his exit out of Toronto. Like I know
I agree.
he did some
Toronto
bad
media,
things.
baby.
He did some bad things, I'm sure, but like he has a pretty good coaching record, and I'm
Yeah,
sure he'll work for some team again. But it may have been a bit of a PR move just to get his hat in the ring. But I think Gallant would be perfect for them, and I mean Laviella would probably be good too.
So why is anyone interviewing Willie Desjardins? Is the question we should
Hank,
both be asking.
Hank, that's true. Hank, could you explain?
Okay, you know what I'll say is I don't think Desjardins will be a head coach anytime soon. But I'll say one thing in his defense. It seemed like the players loved him. Like he seems like truly. I think he rewards certain guys. Like I think bottom six guys and guys like that seem to love playing for him. They always praised him, and like I know Alex Burrows loved him. Um, it seems like he's a player's coach, and I bet he's a perfect assistant. But I don't think he's getting interviews anytime.
Well, Hank, I was gonna
Beautiful
say
mustache.
Mike Yo is the assistant and in Philadelphia, and I don't think he's much of a players coach, as we all know. Him yelling at his players, dude. Those are
Yeah,
highlights. So
yeah.
maybe
I don't know what the recipe is for that, but I mean Philly's stacked with coaches, aren't they? They have
they have what's his name, the French guy too, right?
Michel Therrien, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
isn't that a bench? My gosh.
yeah. Jesus, 3
Did you
NHL
see
coaches.
Pittsburgh hired Reardon as an assistant coach?
Oh,
Yeah, well, he was there before, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, so he just went back.
I think he was their assistant before he got hired. So,
Dude,
bring him right back.
the NHL actually has a problem with like the boys club that is like the NHL coaches. It's literally just a carousel.
It's the
Yep.
same thing with
Yeah.
GMs too.
Yeah,
There's like,
it's like
one
really bad.
Finnish GM and then the rest are North American. Same
Dude,
with the coaches.
The coaches left are all Canadian from like no name cities. Like, dude, we need like some diversity and racism.
Yeah.
And racist. Can we get a moment of silence during the video for?
You could edit it in.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching episode 5 of the podcast. We'll be back during the finals.